I'm loving LeAnn.
The Loving LeAnn attends a meet and greet with Pastor John and Aventer Gray. This exclusive dinner for the Book of John Gray, which airs Saturday at 9 Central on OWN, took place in Midtown Atlanta at an upscale dining spot, Simon's Restaurant on Juniper Street. During a fine meal of savory choices, the guests watched the upcoming Season 2 promo for the Book of John Gray.
Tell you what, my wife and I plan on being boots on the ground, hands-on people like we are in Houston. We are committed to building that local congregation. I'm not interested in having 55 campuses across the country. I'm interested, along with my wife, in building that local congregation, meeting the needs of the people that are there that connect to Relentless Church. We're going to be multi-generational, intentionally multicultural, and we are going to be hands-on in underserved communities. We're going to do as best we can to mimic the life of Jesus as outlined in Scripture. He was non-self-seeking, never self-serving, always humble, committed to the poor, the needy, the oppressed, the lepers, the prostitutes, and every other broken, ostracized person. So if we meet the needs of those, our orphans, our widows, and our veterans, then I think we'll have a very healthy church. I don't know if we were in New York. I hadn't gotten a lot of sleep, been on a couple planes. I preached the weekend, and I just got upset, and I said to my wife, I just want you to know that none of this matters. She was like, what? I was like, none of this. I said, don't be moved by any of it. We're not moved by it. The reason why I think God trusted us with this platform is because it doesn't define us. I'm not going into heaven as a reality star. I'm going into heaven as a man who's fighting to love his wife and raise his kids and die right. This show is a vehicle for God to get glory. This show is about two super normal people who serve a supernatural God. And so the celebrity of it doesn't change because we made a commitment that it's not going to change us. We're not going to be walking around with sunglasses on at night not speaking to people. That's stupid. And the whole idea of Christian celebrity is an oxymoron anyway. There's no such thing as a Christian celebrity. You don't get to use Jesus' name and not speak to people. You don't get to use Jesus' name and not connect with people. You're never so big that you can't touch the people. Jesus was Jesus, and he touched lepers. He had compassion on multitudes. He fed them himself. He washed stinky, dirty feet, and he did it before he died. And so when you talk about how do we, kind of run from that, we know what this is. Popularity comes and goes. I don't want to be popular. I want to be relevant. Relevance means I have legacy when it's over. Popularity means I'm fishing for likes on a comment. I don't care what you think about me on Instagram. You're not paying any of my bills. And nobody there has a heaven or hell to put me in. So the celebrity of it for me is the part that I summarily reject, which is why I think God allows us to keep going. None of the celebrity of it means anything to me. But if I can get one person to look at Jesus when it's over, then it was worth it.
We're quick to deflect attention away from ourselves and back to Jesus. And when we went to a staff meeting at the church, which is still now Redemption until we arrive, we were sharing with the staff there that we're not here to be served, we're here to serve. We're serving alongside the people. Everybody is giving and serving, and so we're not going to ask anybody to do anything that we wouldn't do ourselves. We're givers by nature. We always have been before cameras and before lights, and we'll be the same when it all goes away. We are under no illusion that God is using us for this season, and while we are in this season, as long as God is getting glory, we'll stay here. But the moment it turns into something else, we'll lay it down and be good with it.
I think one of the things I learned is that you have to know who you are before the cameras come on. Because if you're not careful, the platform will define you as opposed to you defining it. So the way that we made sure that we defined the platform is we put up very clear boundaries. You've never seen us in our bedroom. That's by design. I'm not in your bedroom. You don't need to be in mine. You don't need to see where the magic happens. No, but my point is that for me, it was important to maintain boundaries because the truth is they want ratings. So if they get trauma, they're gonna market that. So they can't manipulate what you don't give them from a content standpoint. So the lesson I learned is to define the boundaries and know who we are and what we are. We're not stars. We're two Christians trying to figure it out. And there's no show on TV that allows a black man to love his wife and raise his kids through the lens of faith. None. You name one show that allows this dynamic and shows how we help people while we still need help ourselves. That's the humanity of the book of John Gray. We're not here like, another self-help individual who's got all the answers. I don't have them all. What I've learned, I give you. And if I get it, you got it. And I think that's the beauty of it. I'm not looking down at a person, I'm looking at a person saying, walk with me as I figure it out too. You know who I learned the most from in this second season? We've been filming since September, and we still have a month to go. We've been filming for 6 months because the Oprah Winfrey Network was gracious and gave us a double order for the show, which is rare in this landscape. So kudos to the Oprah Winfrey Network for believing in us. We don't have this 8 or 16 episodes. The most that I learned was about this young woman from Dothan, Alabama, and she's a CEO, a COO, had some thyroid issues. She's battled some other health challenges that people are not aware of, but she fought for her husband's vision when he couldn't even fight for himself. She saw some of the darkest things in this man and she stayed with him when she should have and could have left. When you see that story unfold over these next 8 episodes and how she manages to bless other people while still maintaining her household, you're going to get a newfound respect for her. Her name is Aventer Gray. And when you see how she emerges, you will realize that the book of John Gray doesn't happen without Aventer being a part of every chapter. And so I have learned in these 8 episodes that I have a very unique individual that I'm married to, more than what I knew and more than what I gave her credit for initially because I didn't see it. And there's a part of me as a man that wants to feel like I'm that guy. And so there's a humility that comes with realizing I have somebody with so many gifts. And you see that in the first episode that just aired with Tammy Roman, how she walks with Tammy. And you'll see that over and over. So she emerges in this season in her own right. And this is the era of black femininity taking center stage. And so this show is highlighting her in a way that I think it always needed to. But it was an organic trajectory. It wasn't forced, it's just time. So I just want to say kudos to you, babe. You look good. You look real good.
Thank you. He threw me off because I started thinking, he was like, there's a young woman, and I'm like, which one is it? I have a few in mind that, I think we were uniquely changed. And I think that's what's so beautiful about the show, that we change with each person that we've been blessed to help. It's so funny, I think about Tammy. Tammy is a friend, and people, we don't broadcast to everybody who we talk to or who reaches out to us because that's personal. So when she ended up on the show, she went through the process. It wasn't like she was like, hey girl, I need to be on your show. We saw her name come up and it was like, Tammy, that kind of thing. So for me, I pick my moments, and whatever, when John says, babe, what do you think? That's when I open up. I feel strongly that when he wins, I win. When he's talking, I'm talking, because we're one. So I don't feel slighted in any way. I'm just grateful that you said what you said about me as a story, because people are always wondering how I feel with a husband with a big personality, and how I feel, do I feel slighted in any way? And again, that's something I had to grow into. But I am so honored to say that I know that when he speaks when he's preaching, when souls are won for the Lord, that I had a big part in that. I'm completely secure in playing my position, and I'm grateful that every opportunity that we get to bless somebody, whether it's him or me or us collectively, it's both of us. We're in this thing together. So thank you so much for what he said. It's amazing. The stories are unique in nature, and we either find ourselves in the person that we're speaking to or somebody in our family. We always can find a reference, because sometimes we start talking and we don't know what we're going to say. We're like, God help us. So when I start talking, I know that God is talking through me, and the impact is evident. And as long as that continues to take place, of course, like I said, diverting, deflecting, all for God, all to his glory, then I'm at peace, and I'm good with that. So yeah, people are like, your life is magnified, it's in front of everybody, and I would be lying if I said it wasn't a weight on my shoulders. However, I have peace because we're being ourselves. Like, we don't have to become anything, so that is absolutely easy to do, is be me.
We have casting.
Yeah, they have casting.
Yeah, our production company goes through a full casting process. It's very rigorous. If they like the story, then there's another level of vetting that includes psychological evaluation, background checks, mental and emotional fitness to share the story.
And then
you got to make sure it's true.
Like, do we feel like this is a God thing? Some we pass on, and others we're like, let's get it. Yeah, no, it is true, because we can't say, oh, we can help everybody. We're like, really, God, who? Seriously. So after they've done that part, then we do this part.
I believe people walking away for the first time will be greeted with hope and with the familiarity of stories that resonate, and we remove the height of the pulpit and bring it down to humanity's level. For too long, Western Christianity has elevated pastors and leaders to this untouchable place, and they are somehow perfected semi-angelic beings who know it all. That's a lie. And so what this show does is it humanizes people who have chosen to walk out the course of their life through the lens of faith. And so for me, I think the power of the show is its simple human touch. These are real people, single mothers, trying to figure it out. Somebody who went through sexual abuse. I can speak to what happened to me. We've got somebody who's battling with cancer or breast cancer. Her mama went through breast cancer. We can walk with people based on where we've been. The beauty of that is each person watching has their own testimony. And if you came through it, you then have the authority to speak to it. And so we want people to look at the show and say, I can do what Aventer does, I can do what John does in my own way. Everybody's platform and influence is different, but everybody can do something. So that's what I think people can take away from the show, is that even though they're doing, what looks like great things, I can do that. That's attainable. That's the beauty of the show. This is not like, wow, that was great, I'll never be able to do that. No, you can absolutely do what we're doing by stepping out, leading with your flaws, and being honest about your scars. Today, the latest Pew Research polls say this will be the first generation of young people that less of them will believe in God than more. That is because we have not passed down our faith, because many of us have gotten so smart in this information age, in easily accessible content age, and some of what we have seen in Christianity has been a turnoff because it seems to be about money and about status and fame. And so there's a return to what is authentic and what is real. What you see are stories about faith and hope that are authentic, will shock you, even at the box office. Like this past weekend, I can only imagine, made for $7 million, grossed $17 million. on 1,600 screens. Nobody saw that coming. There was a hunger for faith and family content. We just have to service that need with real stories and real emotion. I think for me, what's important for Hollywood to understand, we just did a Bible study in LA, and there were people sitting on the floor, out around the walls. Some people were there that you all would know. You know, big names and all that is fine. But there were other people who had dreams, and one day you're gonna know their names too. There are a lot of people that have faith, but they're scared to talk about it because they'll be welcomed. Yep. And my thing is, if you're ashamed of Jesus now, you're gonna be dead in the water if you get a door that's open to you. You better love your Jesus when the door opens and let him know there's certain things I will do and won't do. You know. So I think for me, faith is not a dinosaur. I think it is a necessity for people in the entertainment industry, a sure anchor. Because the people we talk to, I mean, they got a lot of money, but some of them are brokenhearted, empty. Money can't save you.
Yep, that's right.
Popularity can't save you. You got 40 million people following you on Instagram. What does that mean when you're crying at night? Right. That stuff don't matter. God has put a God-sized hole in every individual, including famous people. And you can try to smoke it away, drink it away, bang it away, snort it away. But when you finish with all that, you're going to come to the realization, only God can fill this for you.
Yep.
Well, this was a process for me. I support and I celebrate her. When we first got married, I told her, I need you to help me build this vision. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I need you to roll with me. And she laid down her 3 degrees, okay, in the healthcare field to pick up my vision. When we got married, we started with -$11. We was in Hawaii swiping credit cards on faith, you understand me? Eating 3 shrimp between the 2 of us. Yes, and you remember that hot dog? It was so good. Listen, let me tell you something. I was congregating with America, like, listen, I don't know what that charge is. I need to rehearse that until I can dispute it. And so I remember where we were 7 years ago. Don't get me crying and stuff. So everybody sees now. But she ain't just for now. She was with me when we came back off the honeymoon and I didn't have money. And she was like, I got some money. I'll pay the electric bill. I remember that. I remember that.
And the envelope of cash from the wedding gift.
Oh yeah, because we needed that.
Thank you, Jesus.
Got $673. Somebody put $3 in the car.
I had one of my best friends deposit in the bank while we were gone. They'll open every card for us. We took it down the street because we got married here. Yeah. Lowe's Hotel, and there's the Bank of America right over there to open the account so we can have some money, honey. We needed them gifts.
So she was there then, now we're here. So how could God be pleased with me if I don't fight to build what's in her, to push what's in her? Her passion is dance. Her passion is creative. This woman can sing. This woman has a heart for acting. She can do all of that. She deferred all those gifts to build me. Now, I get to now, in turn, give her an entire ministry. She's got a full second-level dance studio now at the new church. Do what you want, baby. What you want to do? You want to be on platform? You want to be on program? I'll put you on program. She's not a first lady to sit on the front row with the trophy smile. She gets down with it. She's a hard worker. So now I get to build her. I get to push what's in her. And by doing that, God is going to honor me. And it's not even about honoring me. It's the right thing to do. Because I got a daughter. And today is her birthday, by the way. Today she's 5 years old.
Birthday party on Saturday.
Yeah, she's 5 years old. And I want my daughter to see that I honor the gifts in her mother so she doesn't settle when it's time for her to be chosen for a man that says all you're good for is what I see in you. Especially if he doesn't have a full vision. I'm not going to let her get caught up in that. When I married her not knowing all of her gifts. But now, as things expand, I realize I didn't marry her for 7 years ago. I married her for right now. So God has allowed the vision to expand. She has the capacity to keep going. That's the power of who she is.
Hi, I am the loving LeAnn.
Hello, loving LeAnn.
Hey there.
And you know what? I'm going to switch it up just a little bit. And I know that you all pour a lot into a lot of people all the time. So I'm simply going to ask you, what support do you need? What can we intercede on your behalf for? And please share with us so that we can place you in our hearts at night when we talk to our Savior on your behalf.
No one has ever asked that. That is amazing.
Thank you, LeAnn.
You're welcome, John. No, but sincerely.
Wow. I want to say, just to keep us in your prayers for strength, because this is a weight. It's not easy, and balance is an illusion. Balance is an illusion, and I don't believe in balance. You know how people say, you gotta have balance, you gotta have balance. Well, not exactly, because there is nothing that weighs more than my family, or the same as my family. I am asking, and I always ask the Lord to give us both grace for the seasons that we're in, to prioritize the season that we're in for Him to get maximum glory. I always say that, so that we tackle what's in front of us and then we move on to the next thing. But if you can just pray for our family, that we have the strength to keep going down the path that the Lord has set forth for us, and that we stay encouraged doing it, because a lot of people get tired and they get burnt out with helping and loving on people, and it just blows up. I don't foresee that for us, but we also need people who are standing alongside us. We can't do it alone. It was a blessing last summer. We were out of the country in Australia. We were at Hillsong. Pastor Brian Houston called us up and he laid hands on us and he prayed for us. And I posted a picture not to say, ooh, we're being prayed for. I posted it because we pray for people all the time. And we're always the ones that are giving. And it is very seldom where it's the shoe's on the other foot. So I thank God for you asking that question. It is just to pray for us to continue, to be able to continue down this vein that we've been trusted with, and for strength, for peace, and for the grace to continue to thrive in the seasons that we've been afforded.
Pray for our health.
Oh yes, definitely health.
Pray for our health and the protection of our children. You can pray for me because I need rest in my soul. Ministry takes a toll, and you can't be an effective pastor without being wounded. And I got a buddy here who's a pastor. God doesn't use anybody greatly that He doesn't wound deeply. And so the challenge is, the higher you go, the less people understand. The less friends you have. It becomes very lonely. And so there are places where I'm wounded, and it's hard to navigate that. Pray for me to be a better husband. I think I'm a good man, but I'm not a great husband, not yet. I don't know how to be. I'm figuring it out. I don't always know how to meet her needs. She's still trying to navigate fatherhood because my dad wasn't there. So if you're gonna pray for me, pray that I become one man. Not what people see on the platform, but what He wants me to be when nobody's looking. That's really what I want. I just want peace in my soul. Because I don't want none of this. This is what I'm called to, but I don't need it. It doesn't define me. But I really want to get this right. Because, all of this could go away if I jack this up. And I've come close. Because if you don't know how to handle a diamond, you'll swallow it.
That's right.
And that's why you don't give babies expensive things, because they think it's candy. Some things are not edible, they're for display. And so I'm asking that God will give me the grace to put our life on display, and that He'll polish me so I can be here 20 years from now still telling you how good God is. Because if people don't pray, this whole thing gonna fall through the ground. And we don't need that. We don't need it. We need people to stick and stay, fight for it, push through. So. That we have all the answers. We don't, Jesus does. I think the idea, a lot of churches are marketing themselves. They want to be, they're big on marketing. And,
popularity.
yeah, they're insta good. They show the best and hide the rest. And I think a church that will be used by God in this 21st century with these brilliant minds that are playing games with religion will be people that will keep it real and will continue to show their humanity. You can chime in because I don't want to, I've been talking a lot and I want to make sure I honor.
No, I'm good. I'm listening.
Yeah, tell me the question again.
It was the misconception that people have about churches that people there are perfect and that you have to get yourself together before you come. When you realize that when you get in there, most of the people in there are probably a lot worse off than you are walking in. And it's a hospital. It's a hospital for broken people. You come there so you can get your sanctification on, so you can get changed. You walk out, you're met with a situation. You've never had that situation before, and you don't know how you're going to react to that situation. You never know what you don't know until you know it. You never know how you're going to react until you have to act in the situation. It doesn't matter how much God or how much scripture or how much you have inside of you. When a certain situation arises, you don't know what's going to happen. So we need not to place ourselves on high horses because we don't know. We're all in this together. We can just give you what we went through, what we walked through, what our testimony is good for, and wait for the next obstacle that's assigned to us to come and see how much we really mature and how we react to it. We were excited about that, and we kind of like gave little glimpses a few months back. Let me tell you, something bothered me, because I can be real with y'all, right? Somebody was like, hashtag relationship goals. I was like, that bothers me. You know why? You don't know it all. You know what people show you, or you know what the picture puts up, or whatever we're going through for that day. And I'm saying that to say, I'm like, we have some real relationship goals for you. We're going to share from top to bottom, because we want you to know that God can still use you in this place. And whatever your platform is, you don't have to hide behind anything. People need to know that you had a stumbling block. People need to know that it was not easy between years 2 and 4, and that it was not easy when you got right at 6.5 and we had this big old mess. Like, are we going to stay together or what?
Yeah, nobody knows that.
People need to know that part of it so they can understand why our voices are so big when we get in public, because we're not hiding anything. So absolutely, that with care, of course, but we are definitely working on trying to bless people with the marriage ministry. It's coming through.
And when we come with it, it's going to be crazy, because it's not going to be no
pity pat.
Yeah, we're going to come with it. They're like, oh, they said what? They've been through what?
Right.
Because like she said, we hit a patch, and it was like, so what are we going to do? We're going to do it or not? That's real. That's scary. Oh my God, the pastors. Forget all of that. It's two humans. We were broken. We were broken when we got married. And what happened is the brokenness didn't go away. It actually magnified. Nobody told me that. I can't run. I don't get to leave. I don't get to go back to mama's house. She's there every day. Ever since we went to Hawaii, she walked in that bathroom. I was like, get out. I'm taking a shower. She was like, we married. I was like, oh, she actually could be in here. We came from different worlds. And my wife talks about this thing called becoming. The two shall become one flesh. That doesn't happen overnight.
That doesn't happen at the altar when you say I do. It happens through the course of the marriage. The length of the marriage. You're becoming from the moment you say I do until one person leaves or dies. When I say leaves, I mean they pass away.
I was going to say, because if she leaves me, she's going to have a problem. Because if she goes, I'm going with her. So if she get a new man, we're going to be in there talking about me with him. Yeah, I was a dog. Scoot over. I told her, if you leave me, I'm leaving me. I never liked me, girl. You did the right thing. Let's go. We're going to stay together. We're going to fight. They missed the joke. They don't understand. If she walks away from me, I'm going with her. Period. She's never leaving, and I'm never going. This is what it is. We're going to fight. We got kids. We got skin in the game. God is building something. It's not easy. But you push. You press. Because if you do it right, there'll be more good days than bad days. We were the ones that said better or worse. Rich or poor. Sickness and health. For as long as you both shall live.
So you can't run when the worst and the better and the worst comes. Because then you lie.
I just want to give you a few moments of encouragement. Yeah, you can come over here. I'm gonna stand up. Walk with it. Walk with it. Walk with it. Walk with it. Walk shoes. Whoa, stay with it. It's been a long day, saints. There's a scripture I want to share with you. It's Psalm 139. And starting at the 15th verse, it says this: "My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in secret and skillfully wrought in the lowest parts of the earth. Your eyes saw my substance being yet unformed, and in your book they all were written, the days fashioned for me, when as yet there were none of them. How precious are your thoughts to me, O God! How great is the sum of them! If I should count them, they would be more in number than the sand. When I awake, I am still with you." And I just want to draw you to this 16th verse. "In your book they all were written, the days fashioned for me, when as yet there were none of them." And I just want to encourage you with this thought. And since we're here for the show, the book of John Gray, I want to just speak life to the book of you. The book of you. Somehow, in God's sovereign will, from eternity, He preordained this moment for us to be in this restaurant, in this place, each life. Somehow, our parents connected when they did to produce us so that we would be the age that we were, to have the experiences that we would have, to have the platforms and influence that we now share, to be in the upper room together. And each one of you is a tastemaker and a leader in your own right. And somehow tonight, all of our books have led to one encounter. And so now all of our books are aligned for this one moment. A chapter, a sentence, a paragraph, a moment. This is a moment. Yes, you guys were here to connect with Aventer and I, and for us to celebrate the book of John Gray, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central, every Saturday night on OWN. But I want to speak to you because each one of you carries a unique gift, a one-of-a-kind gift that will never be seen in the earth again, and it's never been seen before. You are a one-of-a-kind masterwork. There has never been another you, and the earth has never needed you like it needs you right now. Each one of you has a gift, whether with a pen or a keyboard or a microphone or a platform or a magazine or fashion or ministry or civic enterprise and endeavor. Whatever it is you've been given, your book is necessary, because this is what I've learned. There is a need for more sermons, but they are not sermons to be listened to. They are sermons to be observed. The best sermons are the ones that are lived. The best way that we can honor God is by walking out the chapters of our lives with passion, integrity, and consistency. And honoring one another, celebrating one another, pushing one another, spurring one another on to greater works. I want to take a moment to talk about the book of you. Your life, your gift, your calling, your skills are so necessary, so essential that the world cannot do without them. Please, by God's grace, do not apologize for what God has given you. Stop hanging around people that want to make you less than who you actually are. Please don't minimize who you are to make insecure people feel better. Be a loud chapter in the earth. Be a big book on the table. Make people take notice of your gifts, your calling, your talent, because you didn't call you, you didn't gift you, God did. The scripture says all my days were written when as yet there were none of them. I need you to understand that's why Jesus can speak to your future, because he wrote it in the past. Because he's the author and finisher of your faith. Amen. So the enemy comes to interrupt your life, but he can read your story, but he can't write your story. Great. So I want to speak life to you that the book of your life is finished. You're just walking out the pages. So when the enemy comes in to try to hit you with an exclamation point, the best he can do is add a comma. But you step over the comma and you keep going. I know y'all didn't come for a sermon. I'm not taking no offering, but I'm going to be who God made me to be right here, right now. This is the book of John Gray. For whatever reason, God has decided to allow us the platform for people to see our lives. But one day the camera's going to turn to you. And maybe it's not a physical camera, but a spiritual camera, where your influence is going to be lifted and elevated. And in that moment, I pray that the light that's in you and the things that you've gone through and the tears you cried in private will give you a strength to speak to somebody in a public place. Because people need hope right now. They need healing right now. Whether it's through Madame Noir or Bossa or Hello Beautiful or through being a councilwoman or my wife's cousin who just had her clothing line put in Macy's. Everybody's chapter looks different. Everybody's book looks different. But imagine that God picks up your book and reads your life like a story. And as he's reading it, it's unfolding in the earth. Tonight is a night where he put all the books on one shelf just to remind each of us that we came from some women who prayed. Some of us in here are the products of grandmothers who prayed. We didn't get here by ourselves. We had a mama that was praying, a grandfather that was praying, an auntie that was praying. So you didn't just show up here. You didn't just get to where you got. Somebody was praying that we would show up. The earth was waiting on us. So let me encourage you that the book of you is a phenomenal bestseller. The book of you is a one-of-a-kind masterpiece. The book of you is sitting on the shelf in heaven, and it ends with you winning. So no matter what you've gone through and no matter what people say or try to do, you are a bestseller and no one can stop you. So as I bring my moment to a close, let me speak life to each one of you to let you know that Aventer and I are just two regular folks. She's from Dothan, Alabama. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio. But we both said yes to God, and we interconnected our books, and now we're moving towards the next chapter, which is our son and our daughter. And I pray that we can add to that legacy. I want to add great chapters to the book. They'll be good and bad in yours, just like it is in mine. But at the end, his strength is made perfect in our weakness. So I don't mind the hiccups, the storms, because my book has already been written.
Yes.
Your book has already been written. So please, by all means, go be great. Please don't stop. Please don't apologize. And please, whatever you do, keep going. Because at the end, you're going to hear what I'm going to hear. Well done. God bless you.
This is the Loving LeAnn coming to you from Simon's on Juniper, a beautiful, beautiful restaurant. I have never been here, but I will be back. It has a beautiful ambiance, but the epicness of the night was the Book of John Gray. And I am fortunate to have been here among great media partners and colleagues to enjoy this intimate night. Watch the Book of John Gray every Saturday, 10 o'clock, 9 Central on the OWN network. Don't forget, stay tuned. It's a phenomenal season coming up. Some will shock you, some will surprise you. You know you'll be laughing, you know you'll be crying. It's gonna be an amazing trip. So stay connected to Loving LeAnn, and I will keep you posted on what's next. Okay? So we're coming to you from Simon's on Juniper. This is the Loving LeAnn. Keep loving.
I'm loving LeAnn.